Howdy everyone, it is I, Saloon Solstice. Welcome back to Minecraft. I have done absolutely nothing to enhance the world. Yeah. I was gonna do something on like Thursday, but a family thing came up and I didn't get a chance to stream. So, oh god, that loading is scary. Alright, so I've got to finish making... What the fuck? Who... I swear to God. Who... Oh, thank you, Twitch, for letting me know I'm streaming. I have a little bit of stuffed nose. That's great. Anyways, house. Home. This is gonna take forever to build. The fence alone will be impossible. But it's gonna is gonna be worth it. It's always worth it in my eyes. I mean, I even have plenty of food. Alright. Trees. Trees. Okay, so... let's clear out the trees underneath the house, I guess? Because I kind of want to turn this section underneath into like a rail hub. You know... Oh, right, it's night. I should probably vominos to bed. Oops. My plan for the underneath is to turn that into a sort of rail hub so that, you know, I can get wherever I want. You know, from the fucking mushroom place down that way. Have one sent to a village, one probably sent to a definitely have one that leads to like the end portal. And I don't know. Anything else? Oh shite. I am being loud. Ooh. Excuse me. Alright, so This is fun. This is legitimately fun. I don't know what it is with me and making a house in Minecraft, but that's always the most satisfying part. Is, you know, I don't kill the Ender Dragon, you know, to save the world or anything. Kill the Ender Dragon because there's loot hidden behind it. And if I don't kill it, I don't get that good old loot, you know? It's all about the money. In fact, specifically the loot I'm after isn't really even the Elytra, because I almost never used that. You know, even when I did get it, I never used it. I always thought it was more like, you know, haha, I beat the game. Look at me, I beat the game. And less of a, you know, really truly helpful thing to have. I mean, the only way to make it I don't speak words right. The only way to make it like really efficient was to use fireworks, and that wasn't really fireworks seemed like it was like it just kind of defeated the... No, fireworks were just too difficult to make. Like, I'm that lazy. Like, you do run out of them eventually, and I never make like mob farmers or anything, so you know, I always have a very limited amount of gunpowder. So it was never a very practical thing for me. to make to use an Eltrea. I mean, I could just make really tall spires that I climb up and then jump between, but that also seems kind of inefficient, because you have to make each and every one. And the Eltrea does have a, it does break over time, so unless you put mending on it, you have to constantly be fighting phantoms to get shit for it. So for me, it was never worth it. It was a neat little thing you could get for, it was a curiosity you could get as a, you know, thank you for beating the game, for playing it enough to beat it. That's how I viewed it. And that really a huge point in it existing, as far as I was concerned. Don't get me wrong, it was fun to fly, but fuck, that's my. It was fun to fly, but like, I mean, it just didn't seem efficient. It was so hard to use, and you know, I honestly just don't mind walking the rest of the distance, so it was always just waste a little bit of iron, either waste a little bit of iron to have an indestructible path to wherever you're going. What the hell? Who the fuck? Well, hello, Nichunu. Oh god, I butchered that name so bad. Nichuoni. There we go. That seems closer to what reality would say is that name. Thanks for the follow there. But yeah, no, Eltrea's was never something I was particularly invested in. Not to mention it was just like overly difficult to get. By the time I killed the Ender Dragon, there was no need for me to have it. Usually by then I've explored enough of the world that I don't need a pair of wings, you know? Not to mention, they don't really look that great. Like, come on. Be real, they really don't look all that good. Hey, how are you? So how are you? I'm gonna call you Nichu because I can't pronounce the latter half of your name. Hey, how are you? How are you? Yeah, yeah. Let's see. So we're gonna. Oh, so you're not gonna believe, you may not believe this, but hmm? How am I? I'm pretty good. I've had a pretty good conversation with one of my friends earlier. Left me in a great mood. Well, more or less, I guess. And honestly, every time I've loaded up this seed and looked out over this mountain and remembered some of the, you know, the fact that there's a fucking mountain, it puts me in a good mood. You know, it's hard. This game doesn't normally put me in such a good mood, so I'm really cherishing this. Fuck. Also, I'm gonna brag about this forever and ever, but just over that mountain and across the ocean, not that far actually, there is a fucking Mushroom Island biome. I don't know how the fuck I came across that. In fact, it's not even possible to happen in the seed I'm in anymore. I got really fucking lucky with that. Oh god, something's... Yeah, give me a second. We're adjusting something. There we go. Yeah, I know. Like, so I started this seed in the previous version of the game, and in the previous version, apparently, if you from spawn all the way to here where I'm at, yeah, if you go from spawn to in this general direction, you will come across 7 different ocean monuments. Fucking 7 of them. I didn't even know that was possible. I almost died at least twice just because I wandered too close without realizing. And yes, this update is absolutely gorgeous. Fuck. Yeah, no, I have become incredibly methodical about how I make houses. The first step is always the main building itself. I like to either have it floating in the side of a mountain or as part of a cave. And well, I'm gonna pick I picked the floating one because I mean, goddamn, if this isn't a nice view, I don't know what is. I should probably torch it up here real quick. I mean, yeah, and I have all sorts of like various things that I have ambitions for. Like over there somewhere, there's a really nice place to start up a mine for when I eventually clean out what's over there. So I got all sorts of stuff. I have plans for... I don't know what I'm gonna do. I keep like half coming up with plans, and then I don't know how to continue it because I haven't even... I don't even have a bed on this thing yet. My bed's fucking over there. So I'm just a bit of a mess. That's what I am. Yes, blueprints. That's what you call the ramblings of an insane man. All right. That really grinds my gears if you didn't notice. These be the last bit of wood I have to use for a while. Man, I might have made this a bit too big. I've never had a base this big. This is legitimately not good. Oh dear. Oh dear. I mean, I guess it's better than having almost never having enough space, I guess, but alright. Please be enough wood. Please be enough wood. Oh, you're not enough wood, are you? No. God damn it. I hate everything that is that wood block. Oh yeah. Let me get you are after my heart right here, aren't you? Goddamn, I love the medieval. I love the medieval aesthetics and whatnot. Fuck skeleton. No, fuck. I'm gonna. Yeet. Oh, please. I never did big open libraries and fireplaces. What I usually did for the libraries is that I would build them into the side of a mountain, like it's some wizard's cave or something. Make it all mysterious like and cramped. As for the fireplace, I usually just have a flaming pit of lava right underneath that base. So if you make a wrong step, there's a good chance you'll just turn into toasted night. Actually, you want to see how much I like the medieval aspect, the medieval stuff? Oh, get away, bitch! No, no. Oh, that lasted a lot less than I thought it would. Alright, let's get out of that. Library and Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, I know that. You know, that would be fun to make. I mean, I have this massive open, like, place right here. I could try something like that. Oh, you use skins on your Minecraft. I never could figure out how to make those work. Oh, I have more wood. I mean, it's not enough for everything I'm going to be building, but I got wood. I'm gonna turn that down. That's just a little bit louder than... Wait, is this skin an actual, like, big up streamer or something, or YouTube guy? Because I literally just stole this off of like a skin website. I literally just stole a man's skin. That is amazing. You know, one of my friends who saw the skin said something similar, that it was some streamer or whatever. No, it was a YouTuber. I have another skin I might change into. I don't think anyone uses it. Oh, he was one of the old school guys. Oh. Yeah, I missed a lot of them, sadly. I've seen some of what they make, and you know, it was really nice, like legitimately wholesome and shit, and I'm kind of sad I missed it. Hmm. Oh, why did you... Why? No. Don't explode. That's not what you're supposed to do. Oh, fuck me. Alright. Yeah, no, I had no idea... or I guess I did technically have an idea since I've been told repeatedly. But, like, I never cared enough. Alright, so, I need to dedicate, like... So I'm gonna put the bit... Yeah, he was one of the, like, the OG Minecraft guys. Yeah, I did hear about him a little bit. Yeah. I may or may not be hoping to be able to resurrect some of the old era content, you know? You hear how much people love that, and, like, it's worth a shot. Okay. We have the bed. Alright, so... Oh, that... Oh, I don't like that. Oh, fuck. Tip 1 for surviving out in the dangerous land of Alria. Don't look over the edge. Just don't look down when you're running across the very, very thin line that is keeping you standing. Alright. Oh my, I stopped paying attention to the screen. I stopped paying attention to the screen and noticed I was about to fly right off the fucking edge. I am not smart. Just know now, if I do something stupid, it's not my fault. I'm just a little stupid. Alright, so, I'm gonna put general crafting over here. Yeah, I hear that a lot. That's something that's said by a lot of my friends. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know. I don't care how funny Dream is. All right, don't cheat. Just don't cheat. Like, it should be fairly obvious that you're not supposed to be cheating. And what's worse is he got caught. Like, that's I don't care, man. That's a little sad. All right, so general crafting. We're gonna have probably stonework right next to it. Oh, I should probably drop this over here. We have generalized crafting. We're gonna have a smelter. Problematic. Look, I'm not gonna say anything because I really haven't been in that sector of reality that much. But yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah, a lot of people I think are starting to grow out of some of that. That's why, partly that's why I'm hoping I'll be able to excel here, because I mean, I ain't gonna, you know, pretend to be child friendly. What kind of fucking loser would do that? All right. This is where I start getting indecisive, because I want to do like 1,000 things right now, and I want all the resources immediately. Because I know exactly what I want, and the fact that I can't have it yet infuriates me. Alright, so we're gonna drop some of this stuff off. I'll sort this later. Fuck it. I mean, now that I officially have a home, right? Yeah, I officially have a home, so I need to... Next thing I need to do is get food rolling in a decent fashion. Yes, building is so much more fun. Alright, so... Fuck, I need stone. I don't want to ruin that. One of the things I always hate doing is damaging the natural landscape too much. That's why I love either building my houses into mountains or floating, because that's what is the ultimate eyesore, is the house itself. Right? The house is, at least for me, I can never make them look nice and be big enough to function, at least late game. So I just make them above everything, so I don't have to worry about that. What? Okay. Alright. No, I don't need that. I need this. And one of these. Alright, so now I need to figure out where I'm going to put the farm. Maybe... Yeah, probably right there. I could... I tried something like that once, but it was such a pain in the ass. Like, just straight up. Trying to dig for everything under the ground was always so time consuming. Probably because I also tried to make my farm underground. Which, I'm gonna be honest, may not have been the smartest choice. Nah, yeah, that for me it's hard to just sit there and like dig through everything because it unless you have the rare materials like diamond or netherite to chop through the stone, it takes forever, and you don't want to waste those tools on just building a big old hole in the ground. So it creates this conundrum where I just inevitably make a house up top. Besides, what I do, I like to think promotes the beauty of the land a little bit more, despite the extreme the extreme intervention of mankind. You know. So, I mean, one of my favorite things is that is actually really great about this place. It's gonna be a long time before I can actually do it, but that's a fucking axolotl pond just waiting to be made right here. This is a fucking huge ass axolotl pond. Yeah, I play a lot of games. Like I play everything from Stardew Valley to Warframe. I play basically whatever I can get my hands on. Yes, a perfect axolotl spot right there. It's gonna probably go all the way up. You're gonna drown if you try and pet the ones on the bottom. It's gonna be great. I might try and see if I can't fit other fish in there just to see how long they can last. Alright. No, yeah, I definitely I play a lot of games. One of the ones I'm playing recently on stream was Saints Row, actually. Saints Row 3, I think. Me and a friend are playing that through because it's fun as fuck. Alright, so is this where I wanted to make the farm? Yeah, right on the precipice, basically. That sounds like me. That sounds like... Oh yeah, no, I play that on time to time. I'm not any good at it. I'm really not good at any sort of battle royale style game. I'm a giggly bitch today, what the hell. No, I generally don't play battle royales for some reason. That even though I like some of those mechanics, I just can't be good at it for some reason. And I don't have any, and I mean I do have one friend who's good at it, but I don't talk to them that often, so it's not like that matters. Yeah, I might stream some Apex if you're willing to watch. I don't know. Why is the golden horse armor still in my inventory of all the fucking things? Oh my god. Yeah, they can be. Like, they can be addicting, I'll admit. But when you get one... God damn, you play that a lot, wow. I mean, if it's the main game you play, I ain't gonna say shit, but... You know, they really can be, to an extent, they can be pretty addicting. I mean, the mechanics, especially for Apex, are pretty fucking fun, but... At the same time, like... It's hard to enjoy it when even the Roblox copy of when a Roblox copy of what's it, Call of Duty plays better in terms of like not getting shit on every 2 minutes. I mean, sure, you get shit on plenty in games like that, but like you might get a kill. Let's see, this is nowhere near... Oh my, I have to go through so much wood. I swear to God, it's like a porno over here. Might I ask, real quick, what character do you main, actually? Cutting down the tree. Oh my God, that's so much wood. And I still don't think this is enough space for my farm. Fuck. Well... it also has to get leveled, and that's an interesting group. I don't know much about Mirage or Watson, but Bloodhound, I only play the starters because that's all I have, but Bloodhound, Wraith, ooh, fucking Wraith, it's such a fucking cheap class to play, I swear to God. No, fuck. It really is the cheapest fucking class to play. Damn it, I don't think I created a child. Fuck. I'm not a father yet. Is this big enough? This looks like it might be big enough. Well, yeah, she can be very difficult if you don't know how to play her. Part of the whole thing is, what I've noticed is everyone understands the meta of Wraith, so the only way to pull off the Wraith is if the enemy team doesn't know your Wraith. If they don't know you're her, your chances of destroying at least two of the enemy team is actually really high. Which means you have to pull the stealth, the void jump. You have to pull that before they can see you. So it only works if you know they're there first, really. No, give me my wood. Thank you. But you know, if you do manage to hit it before before you get seen, you can quickly tear them up from the back end. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't think I have over 100 kills in the game, period. Oh, like across all the characters I've played, I don't even think I've broken 100 kills. God. But you're nothing compared to one of my friends. I think they have like a couple thousand kills across like multiple characters. or not across, but no, like each. I know Wordwell. Multiple, they have multiple characters that are over 1,000 kills, and I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck? Do you even have a life? You have a life, probably. I'm just it's just something else to see, you know. All right. I don't know. You have more kills than Carl himself, so you got something going for you. At the very least, you got something for you. Please don't be night yet. Holy shit. Oh yeah, Bangalore. Isn't she the isn't she like the soldier girl? I can't remember. Yeah, no, she's also really fun. I think if I'm thinking of the right person, Bangalore is a really nice one. Yeah. Thanks for the confirmations. You know, Bangalore is pretty tight. I'll be honest. That smoke screen has saved me so many times and been my demise because it was on the other team plenty of other times as well. I mean, not to mention that sprint. God damn, that sprint is nice. Fucking ants. I wonder if I'll survive this fall. Well, may as well live life to the fullest. Oh, my ankles! I mean, that's better than I expected, I guess. Alright, back to making the farm, I guess. Yes. Ooh, plenty of flowers for bees. Predators. Oh, fuck off with predators. I hate Smurfs, predators, whatever the fuck you call them. I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. Ugh. God. They are legitimately some of the worst people in the world. It's how you build resistance, you know? I mean, we don't need guardrails. So few people die from falling each year, you know? We don't really need guardrails. You can't build resistance to fall damage if you don't fall a few times. More bullshit like that. Right? Alright. Let's see. You're not wrong. Well, no, you are wrong. There is a way to break a broken ankle. That is actually possible. Sorry to say, but you may not be as invincible as you once thought. Alright, so I need to... Water bleeds out in a 4x4... in a... Oh, fuck, I gotta do math. Alright, so when water is affecting tilled land, it can only spread tilled land in a 4x4 grid. No, not a 4x4. The diameter of the square, radius of the square or something. I need a bucket of water. Why am I trying to build a farm when I can't even get water for it yet? The question of my age, yes. That is, I can't tell if that's flattering or disappointing. I'm gonna take it as flattering because I'm only 18. Come on, get up. Yeah. And yes, I am incredibly goofy for someone of my age. All right, so I need. Why was the iron not in the iron smeltery? I'm a fucking moron. Mm-hmm. I maintain. I mean, you got me like more or less right smack in the middle of that. But no, I'm. Yeah, no, I'm. I made the mistake of eating on stream. Excuse me. uh, yeah. I try not to listen to my voice ever because I personally never enjoyed how it sounded. So I just don't listen to it, and then you don't have to deal with it. You know, just ignore the problem, and it's not a problem. Oh fuck! I need water. What the? Oh, that's real life, not in the game. Oops. I'm a mess. Ignore me. I wonder if this will. Oh shit! I didn't mean to fall off. I wasn't gonna fall. I swear I'm not normally this stupid. Ow. I'm not normally this stupid. Or maybe I am. You say my voice sounds good. I say it sounds like I'm some sort of incel. No, I've never. You can't have body dysmorphia if you don't look in a mirror. Just don't look in a mirror and you're fine. I mean, it does solve that problem. That is a very efficient way to solve that little problem, is to just never look in the mirrors. And you guys got some water? Oh, what the hell is that lag? What is that lag? God, I wish they would fucking do something for Java for a change that didn't just make it lag worse. Hey, what the fuck? You guys got some water? I don't think these guys got water. It's a lectern. Oh, are you Aztecian or something? Like, goddamn, that's some fucking obscure ass lore. God, I didn't know. I didn't think anyone would have known about that shit. Jeez. Yes. Iron. Oh my god, this is a decently sized village. It's gonna be a pain to put defenses around it. You suck. Demon portal. That's such obscure fucking, like, real life. That's such obscure anything that. Props to you, honestly, just props to you. Do you even know what you just accidentally referenced? The demon portal? Because I wonder. Oh, so you're aware that, so you do know that the ancient Aztecs were afraid that if you looked in a mirror, you basically lost your fucking soul, right? You know, I too am a fan of things as such. No, I'm less into specifically demons and more into the whole dragon shebang. Oh, I thought that was gonna be deeper. I should have gotten another bucket. Yes, I should have gotten another bucket. Well timed, yes. No, it's always astounding for me. Finding fuck, that was my food. It's always astounding for me coming across someone who has knowledge in how demon, like anything lore based, because most of my friends are either World War II nerds, furries, or that one Mexican token friend, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't be like, okay, I personally haven't seen proof that these things have existed, but I wouldn't be surprised if we just didn't like accidentally fucking kill them all without realizing it. I mean, I personally couldn't tell you if they really did ever exist, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, no, I am an absolute fucking nerd. You may or may not have found one of the few major nerds in existence. And I'm not talking Warhammer nerd, I'm talking fucking medieval LARPing would have been a pastime for me if that had worked out. Okay, gotta get that infinite water going soon. You know, I love the various the various concepts around dragons have always fascinated me. Because I mean, dinosaurs are basically, like the pterodactyl was basically a dragon. It may not have been fire breathing. Well, the thing is it's very difficult for biology. Biologically speaking, it would be very, very difficult for a living being to have a combustion engine in its mouth, because it would require, well, the creature would have to consume basically large amounts of solid metal ore. Like, they would have not the standard amount of metals in their throats and stomach or whatever flame organ you have. But biologically speaking, it's very improbable. I mean, unless you had a specific biological compound that was incredibly resilient to flame, like a like a very, very thick layer of pre-blackened carbon. That's the only way that I can see it possible. Well, spontaneous combustion is aliens, dude. Let's be real. If a person randomly explodes, it's probably a fucking alien. It's just an alien saying that they don't care. Well, the thing about spontaneous combustion is they had to have probably consumed something specific. It's not like a random, oh my god, I've not seen that many pieces of shit in one spot. I'm gonna have to put torches down there, fuck me. Oh no, please don't be a thunderstorm. Don't, don't, don't. Fuck me. Oh, this isn't good. Oh yeah. But spontaneous combustion is not a natural occurrence. There has to be an outside something. Either they consumed something that made it so that they no longer vibed with reality. Yeah, demons and spirits. That's an interesting one. Oh, that looked like a person. You know, a lot of this is. Shut the fuck up. Excuse me. Um, one of the reasons I'm really interested in stuff like this is a lot of my family members are constantly talking about quote unquote dealing with stuff like this. I have no idea how true it is, but assuming it is, it's rather fascinating. I mean, I have several family members that have. I have several family members that have talked about stuff like what you call, hauntings and shit. Robert Johnson. I don't know that name. I mean, I do know about Crossroads Demons, but that's more from the Supernatural show than anything else. I should just go to sleep. Yeah. Oh fuck, there is a lot of things that want me dead around here. Oh fuck. No, but one of the things, my grandfather, who is, he's not like, he's not a, if he's a nut job, he's a scientific nut job more than anything else, okay? So when I say he is, it is his, specifically his interpretation that, and that tree's on fire. It was my grandfather's interpretation that basically, most demon-esque entities were more likely the result of, not like spirits of the dead, but they were closer related to either some sort of extraterrestrial or higher intelligence being. And that's his usual interpretation. Oh, I heard of him. Yeah, no, that's the... Yeah, I've heard... Oh, fuck my taint. Oh my god, there's more. Why are... Well, I guess I don't have to deal with these trees anymore. Well... Well, no, he not fallen angels per se, like... Well, technically yes and no. From what I've seen at least, fallen angels angels in general could be described as not like God's work, not God's couriers or anything, but rather an extraterrestrial entity. From what I've seen, this is what I've seen. You'll note there are a lot of there have been multiple mentions of big wars or big fights between the angels, and they almost always appear to perfectly mimic space events. What is it? There was a specific... incident, I recall looking at. Got it. There's this like weird orb with an unknown material in its center that it's basically fully autonomous, and it was found in a like near a farm. And the idea is that that's the quote-unquote that's the quote-unquote angel that we keep seeing. It's not that we're like... I don't know, it's hard to describe because I'm tired and it's been a while. But basically, there was evidence that these weird orbs had basically inhuman technology. It was fully autonomous, moved on its own without any known mechanism, and its inside was hollow. And the orb matched up perfectly with a painting from multiple paintings, I believe, actually, from medieval ages that depicted battles between angels that would... I don't think there was a Great Flood specifically, because we would definitely have stuff like that. We'd have record of that. Like it would be very easy to say, oh yeah, the Earth was covered in water for a couple months, just everything died. I'm gonna turn that down a little bit. That's getting just a touch loud. Yeah. That's... Yeah, the Phoenix Lights. Those are, that's what is, like the stereotypical, quote, you know, the alien side. It's not like it's not supernatural. It's the United States government being a bunch of dicks, which, no, it's not. They wouldn't be caught. If the United States was doing this, we wouldn't have caught them. There wouldn't be video footage of it. So it's one of those things, there's something either that lives on Earth with us or is from another planet, and we're just seeing it a lot more. And one of the ideas is that a lot of like early human religions, and even up to the influencing of modern religion, that these so-called extraterrestrials basically influenced us. We saw them and assumed they were gods. I mean, that doesn't seem too far-fetched for me. I mean, when you look at Plato's description, another realm, yeah, I always love the multiverse theories. But do you know Plato's description of Atlantis? Specifically, they had weapons of war that allowed them to like cast balls of fire at each other. They were so like insanely advanced that they were able to move entire continents around. And the idea was, one of the theories is that these whatever these aliens or whatever these creatures are, beings or whatever, were actually some sort of hyper advanced civilization closer to humans in terms of advancement. Because, well, what was it? Give me a second, I'm looking it up because I'm tired of guessing. What was... Oh, come on. Well, it's weird, because that's not really how that's happening. Because we've advanced a lot faster than I think we should have. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we went from steam engines, right? We went from steam to being able to leave our planet in such a short time. Something about that has always rubbed me the wrong way. We've always been far more advanced than I... Fuck you, desk, trying to break on me. We've always been far more advanced than I ever thought really possible. For the... Yeah, exactly. How did you find a way... Yeah, Bluetooth is a great example. How did we go from record players to Bluetooth in such a short time period? It makes no sense. At least to me. I never understood how that was, like, scientifically possible. Oh, fuck. I gotta move that over one. It just didn't rub me the right way ever. And when you look at it, it's rather strange how fast we've been able to advance. I mean, we went from radio technology to wireless. We went from using electricity to light. We were using light to transfer information. Yes, how did a human figure this shit out? How does a dumb monkey brain like the one you and I have manage to go, oh, we turned the Wi-Fi into Bluetooth? 1, 2, 3, 4. It just, I don't understand how. I never understood how we managed to figure it out. And you realize Nikola Tesla was an absolute genius, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Because he's the guy who came up with, like, wireless shit. And back then, like, I don't even... 1, 2, 3. People hardly understood how, you know... Back then, you know, we were still using a lot of steam-based power. Yeah, no, it's... How did we come up with this technology? How did we figure this out? That's always confused me. Humans were never a very smart species. Yeah, it just works. Without any reason for it to work, it just does. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't care what we think. I mean, yeah, it works, but how did we figure this out? As a civilization, we're just not smart enough to know this yet. At least, I don't think so. So, who came up with it? Who came up with all this? How did Nikola Tesla figure any of this out? How did any of these inventors learn how to manipulate reality in such a way? And I've never... The only possible conclusion I've had is, you know, based off of the fact that we're advancing so fast, I've always thought we just have to be receiving help from something. Something has to... We have to at this point. I mean, how the hell am I playing this goddamn video game? This is a miracle. This game right here is a miracle of technology. The fact that it just exists in general. The fact that we can create an infinite world in a digital space. And that just... that's cool. It exists because it can. Yeah. I've always wondered a little bit, I guess. Oh no, I'm almost out of food. Good thing I have some stores. Oh fuck. I might die. Yeah, and... Oh shit, I'm dead. I don't have enough food. Yeah, you're right. We went from those massive boxes that could barely compute anything at all to, you know, yeah, these tiny ass smartphones. That doesn't follow the laws of computers. That doesn't. It just doesn't. Because that's not a doubling of computer technology every like 8 months. That's easily quadrupling. At least in some instances it has to be. And then you look at how fast we're advancing, and we're still advancing. Quantum computers are supposedly going to just destroy everything else around them in terms of intelligence. Oh, shut the fuck up. Not you, an alarm I have. Yeah, no, it's one of those things that I never fully understood how that was possible. How do you go from... They went from steam engines to this shit in under 200 years. We went from barely... We went from thinking that if a woman went over 30 miles per hour, her uterus would fall out. We went from that to being able to go to the fucking moon and back. If that doesn't baffle you, I think you haven't experienced enough yet. Let me put that over there for now. And then you, if you look in some other aspects of, like, advancement of the human civilization, you'll realize it hasn't caught up with the rest of it. One of the most interesting things I've noted is in terms of like societal intelligence compared to like the technology we create, there is a major gap. Oh, I mean, well, actually, we could theoretically. I have hopes that. Well, no, there is a way to escape the whole government situation, but that will be for a very select few, and they will and even though they're the rare lucky few, their lives will be very, very difficult. And it's those few people who get to explore the universe on their own. The scientists, once we get our technology to a point where we can, say fuck it to Earth and just go wherever. Until then, or when that happens, I guess, that's when you'll have people who are truly safe from all that. You can't be tracked if you're on you really can't be tracked if you're on the other side of the fucking Milky Way, Go ahead, put a 5G chip in my brain. I don't care, I want to be a femboy anyways. I mean, you didn't hear that. Yeah, no, it's one hell of a thing. It's one hell of a thing. There's no guarantee our civilization will be like that, but it's probably the best bet we'll have at freedom. True freedom. No, the Alaska of the universe is probably the fucking black holes. Once we find a way to, get inside of that, oh, we're gonna have one hell of a time then. Actually, no, black holes are the Siberian wilderness of the universe. Excuse me. Alright, so I have... Oh, okay. Alright, so that's... beets, potatoes, wheat, carrot, and there's another farmable one, right? I can't remember. Is there like a third farmable? Yeah, that's assuming we're still living. What the hell? Oh, you know, all this talk has actually reminded me of something really, just absolutely, like, mind-bogglingly fascinating. And I'm gonna be, I would like to preface this in case any, like, in case any government agency is watching. I already mentioned potatoes. Potatoes, beets, and carrots. I think there was a fourth. I can never remember. I might just do 2 stacks of potatoes if there isn't. But one thing that gives me hope that in the future we might be able to be a spacefaring species before we kill ourselves is the atomic island. As someone who delves more into the what's the word? I'm the okay, that's gonna be 2 beetroot, carrot, potato. I could just do less wheat, but then I don't have enough wheat for my cows. Fuck it. I'll have something next to the... I'll have my mushrooms next to the carrots. But something that's I've recently learned is the atomic island, which is a set of atoms that are stable even though they shouldn't be. They're incredibly heavy, heavier than uranium. And my ankles. Excuse me. Oh, hey, they didn't break that time. It's who the fuck is messaging me? Who? What? Oh, okay. That's what that was. It was a message from what server I'm in. Excuse me. It's like an atomic element. It's super heavy, called moscovium, and I've heard that it's theoretically there's an isotope of it that's potentially stable enough that we could create large quantities of it. And it's an element heavier than uranium, and if it is potentially stable, it would act as an amazing fuel source potentially. But what's interesting is it technically shouldn't be as stable as it is. There's this odd thing known as the there's just a bunch of, once you get to a certain point, elements get too heavy and too crazy. They just can't stick together. Too smart? I think I'm just too dumb. Your brain can't handle, my brain can't even fucking put the words together. Basically, there's a bunch of elements after a certain point where it's just too heavy that the element can't exist. It just refuses flat out and will explode itself. And what's strange is, for some reason, after you get into the point, it's like an island. When you go into this area, for some reason it gets stable again. It re-stabilizes somehow after you make it heavy enough, and It's only for a couple of them, I guess. I don't know. But there's a it's a supposedly. Excuse me, I was mildly dying there. That was a funny one. No, microbiology. I don't imagine it's too terribly complex. I mean, I can't imagine it being like the the easiest thing in the world, definitely, but I can't imagine it being too terribly complex. It's talking about ribosomes and whatnot. I mean, I personally would never go into it. I don't find it that interesting. I'm much more interested in swords and aliens. Because everything can be explained if you just use aliens enough, right? Why did I Why did I fail a class? Simple, aliens. Hey. Oh, so right. No, you're into the spirit stuff, right? You're into the spirit stuff. So I actually have a story that you might find really interesting. It's not a personal story. It's one from my dad. Your brain just couldn't. That sounds about right. For me, it's either just too complex to worth bothering, or boring most of the time. And honestly, you know, if you really think I'm smart, you should try sitting next to my grandfather for a fucking couple minutes. Just try talking to him. You will think you're talking to fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson. It'll be like that. That motherfucker is so smart. I mean, a lot of what I'm saying is toned down significantly to make it easier to understand, because he really just fucking is mind-boggling how much stuff he can just over-theorize, you know? I mean, this guy is helping. He's real smart, but you're a spirit person, so or rather a fan of spirits. So I actually have a story from my father told me. It's a real interesting one because it's one of the few he's ever told me about. In fact, it's one of the few he's ever experienced. And all these experienced after he met my mother, who only car engine. Oh, I got a beautiful truck. I might show you one of these days. Actually, I might be able to show you real quick. But no, the day I think it was my family was going. I think it was the day my dad was like. It was either around the time my parents got married, or around the time we were moving to California, when a really interesting thing happened. Basically, the entire family on my dad's side was gathered together and say goodbye to him. He was leaving for a long time. It was a big old get together, right? And they had a Tickle Me Elmo that was given, I think, for me. It was supposed to be for me, right? And they had the weirdest fucking experience with it because it would turn. It went off late at night. The night my dad was supposed to go, it went off on its own, and it woke up everyone in the house. It was what was? No, that's Mickey. Fuck, and just it was a Tickle Me Elmo, you know, Elmo, something like that. I'm bad at Elmo's voice. I haven't heard it in a long time. But basically, they heard the Tickle Me Elmo go off, and they go into the living room, and there's no one around to have turned it on. There weren't any kids in the house at the time, so it couldn't have been one of them. It couldn't have been any of that. So they turn it off, and they go back to bed, thinking nothing of it, right? And it goes off again a little bit later in the night, even though it's off. So they tear out its batteries. At this point, everyone is spooked, and even when my dad was talking about it, he had that that tone and look of something unfucking holy happened, and he's not like a really religious guy either. Yeah, because it shouldn't go off when it's turned off, right? Well, it got even weirder apparently, because not only did it go off, but it went off after they tore out the batteries as well. They fucking threw it in the trash can out back in response. And it's a whole thing. I could ask, I'm pretty sure I could just ask any member in that side of my family, and they'd be like, "Yep, that happened." Assuming they even speak about that incident. I have no idea how true this is, to be honest. I mean, I'm forever like a skeptic of things like this, but if it's true, that's fun, isn't it? I'm bringing this up partly because I'm wondering if you have any ideas on what kind of entity this could be, since you're our spirit man. You are now my spirit man. You've been employed forcibly. A Furby that went off on its own. Okay, Furbies are possessed, are just inherently possessed, okay? Have you ever seen a Furby that didn't look like it was going to kill you when you went to sleep? Come on. Yeah, so it only turned off. It was only off if you didn't have any batteries in it, or if you were around it, right? Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah, no, it's one of those things. My family, at least especially on my mom's side, has been plagued with shit like this. My grandfather, after he got out of the military on my mom's side, he was just under constant assault. In fact, I think even before the military, he was just under constant assault by things that normal science couldn't just straight up explain. And even I myself have had instances that I don't talk about because I personally can't explain it. I really don't understand how it works, and I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. Yeah, no, my whole family is constantly, or at least from my mom's side, just constantly under siege by weird shit. And for some of us, mainly me, it's something you don't want to have happen because it makes you feel fucking insane when it does. One of the instances I've always dealt with was what I call the Thunderlord. It's not a ghost per se. It's just a really terrifying coincidence in my eyes. Because I mean, even to this day, it's still, I don't understand how the fuck it happened, how the fuck it does happen. It was is my shovel broke? Oh, it is. I should probably make more. It was I was a really, really little kid, and there was this dream I had, right? It was this. It seemed like, at least at the time, it seemed like stereotypical. You would have thought it was some sort of regular scary dream a kid had, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It probably would have seemed like just a normal scary dream for a kid, right? But looking back on it, it was pretty fucked up, actually, for a dream, because it was so weirdly specific. What happened was 2, 3, 4. What had happened was so I was in the dream. I was in a house I hadn't lived in yet, that I would live in when I had the second half of this dream, I think. No, actually, yeah. No, it's hard to remember the exact. It happened in 2 segments. The first half and the second half. The first half happened in a house I had never lived in, and the second half was in the same house when I was living in it. The basic premise was, at the time I lived in Missouri, so tornado threat was what was happening. There was like tornado sirens going off, and my parents, they were like, oh shit. They ushered me off to bed, and as we're going to bed, as my mom's basically dragging me through the house to my bed, we get into my room, and we stop right before we cross the window, and there's just this massive fucking thudding, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at first it seems like a stereotype, kid had a bad dream and it had watched something and it influenced what he dreamed about, right? Because it was really just a massive robot. That's all it was. This massive, oddly not humanoid robot, but also it's hard to describe. It both was and wasn't humanoid in the dream, right? It was just walking right up. It looked in the window like it was looking for me, and my mom was scared shitless in the dream. And I would later go, she'd get me in bed and the dream would end, and then a couple years later, the next half of the dream would happen where a different version had shown up and was wearing a cloak of storms. That is the only way to describe it. It was a cloak of storms. It was terrifying. It was bearing down on our house. And it was coming for us. For some reason, my parents at the time were in mourning over something. They were dressed in all black, but no, whatever the fuck this was, it was coming for us. It it really wanted someone's flesh in our household. And I would later go on that the description matches. Would later go on to learn that the description matches like several various like close encounter incidences, and a couple poltergeist situations as well. It was a like 50-foot tall being that was cloaked in thunder. Just try and imagine that. And then I would go learn that, oh yeah, that's a common description for, this specific species of alien or some shit like that. And that's one of the more tame incidents that I have. I don't know how like in depth you are into believing stuff like this, so I don't know how far I should go with the weird, just how weird I should get, Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if you're not even here at this point. That was just one massive fucking monologue. A monologue about something very, very stupid, not to mention. Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's really, really interesting, Start planning all this stuff. I mean, I'll always preface, I am not I'm not what you would call a religious or a spiritual person. I'm a very cold, hard, scientific bitch. If you can't prove it with direct fact, I'm more likely to just ignore it, right? So, shit like this always messes with me. My fucking ankles. I really should get a better method. Ah, interesting. I've seen shadow creatures in the yard once or twice. There was one. I saw one go right up next to my bed, or right up next to the porch on my house. It went by at fucking 40 miles per hour, size of a bear. Nothing was damaged in the yard, even though it would have gone right into several things. Yeah, and, astrology. Okay, astrology, astronomy, and aliens are three very different things. Astrology, yeah. So, I'm not a Twitter white girl. I've had my fair share of weird shit happen to me. I mean, it's not the same as what most of my family have had. Do you know what, this one is kind of like I have a harder time talking about this one. Do you know what a prophetic dream is? Have you heard of prophetic dreams before? Because for me, this is one that it's like it's hard. This one's not This one makes me a little uncomfortable talking about in public. But yeah, I was. Honestly, prophetic dreams, in my opinion, are some of the more out there ones as well. Oh, you've had one or two? I have what I can plausibly identify as up to 6 to 7 that are easily identifiable, and like 30 or so others that are possible. I mean, it's like, for me, like the other ones that I've talked about, they're not things that occur to me commonly. They're weird, sure, but like that dream doesn't have anything in particular important. Maybe it has something to do with some sort of like 50-foot fucking robotic species that decided to contact me through my dreams. But that's a really long shot. And sure, there is a way to directly explain it so it doesn't look, so it's not weird, right? It's just this one, like, it makes my entire body uncomfortable, not for weird reasons. I'm uncomfortable for like the wrong reason almost. I don't know. Like I'm speaking about something I shouldn't whenever I talk about this. But I'm gonna do it anyways because I don't give a fuck about reality. But one of my biggest ones that made me realize, there might be some stuff, there might be something to all this, like the occult stuff, is my first real prophetic dream. Have you heard of the hit game Undertale? I wouldn't put it past you if you're not aware of it. This is where I'm gonna show my true nerd nature and look like an absolute fucking idiot. But I'm pretty sure you're at least semi-aware of the game Undertale. Well, when I was about 12 to 13ish, around the time the game had come out, I had a really interesting dream. Now, I'd like to preface this with, I didn't learn about the game Undertale's existence until... Sans, yes. I didn't learn about the game's existence for at least 3 years after it had come out. It was like 3 to 5 years. Again, a little wobbly in terms of time frames. But no, it was 5 years. I didn't learn about the game 5 years until 5 years after this dream happened. And the dream was the Flowey boss fight sequence. The Omega Flowey or Photoshop Flowey or whatever you call it. That's what that dream was. It was me playing the game. Just that one fight. Just not even like the full fight, just that, like, the intro sequence. It started out as, the thing the save file being destroyed, and then first the save file gets destroyed, and then Omega Flowey attacks. And I had, for me at least, the dream was of that, and I'm sitting. I nearly pissed myself when I woke up because I thought I died. Like, half of me thought I was dead, and the other half knew I couldn't die, probably because it was a dream. But Omega Flowey just skipped straight to fucking blasting my ass with its mouth laser, and I was sitting there. I woke up borderline pissing myself because I had never seen anything anywhere that terrifying. And when you're a 12-year-old who has a dream of a disgusting plant monster that kicks your ass so hard you wake up, you're not gonna. It's not a good time. It's what you would call a bad time, definitely. And so I woke up, and for a week solid, I was sitting there like, what the fuck is this? What the actual shit? What? Like, for a week, I was straight up just completely afraid to go to sleep because of it. And then, I eventually forgot about it, and a couple years later, a friend of mine shows me to a YouTube channel, and I start watching their videos, and they have an old set of videos on this game called Undertale. So I, curious me takes a look at it. I watch through. I love the game. I love the game, right? And then it gets to the Omega Flowey part, and I nearly pissed myself because, yeah, that was a whole ass nightmare. I had a whole ass fucking nightmare that basically scared me from sleeping for a week straight. And it was the exact entrance scene of Omega Flowey too. So that's why, the only reason I'm still a fan, still a huge fan of the game, is because of that shit. I would have stopped being such a big fan over time if it hadn't been for that. I mean, the music's nice and the story's interesting, but otherwise, meh. No need to buy the game after you've seen the story, right? After you've seen all the Easter eggs and shit. But no, I was sitting there, the laptop on my lap, watching this thing descend from the ceiling, and this sense of pure dread that hits me so fucking hard. It was unreal. I've never had a dream scare me like that, other than a couple other instances. And those ones those were probably just, little kid nightmares, right? So, I was shit-faced terrified, man. And, that's my big example of prophetic dreams and whatnot. When it comes to that, that's my best instance to talk about, because it's a game everyone knows, and it's not like you're not going to know it, right? It's not like for me, it's the easiest one to say with certainty that it was something that happened. And, I'm not going to make an attempt to explain it. I'm not going to say I predicted Undertale. I had a dream, and it happened to coincide with that game. How that's possible, I'll never know. Probably not, at least. Some of my family members like to, come up with ideas that personally I don't imagine being too realistic. But I mean, a nightmare's a nightmare, right? But no, I've had a lot of other instances that I could say with decent certainty that there was something to it. One of them is was me meeting my girlfriend. that was something else. Yeah, no, so, I mean, I'll always forever say, I'm not like a direct believer in the occult and stuff like that, because I'm a very scientifically minded person. So when something that I can't explain happens, I'm going to chalk it up to some sort of, a science I don't understand. That's beetroot, carrot. I've had that, except it wasn't the night it occurred that I had that dream. I have had something similar, but it wasn't quite to that same extreme, and it wasn't the day after. For me, a lot of it was like specific incidences that were important for one reason or another. It's like I'll go ahead and like take, actually, like, it's very specific instances, like a specific conversation I'm having with a friend that would that would directly lead to something, because after I had the conversation I would recognize, oh shit, I've had this conversation before with this person, right? I'll use my girl as an example again, because I love her and she's amazing, and but before we actually started dating, we got into a really bad argument, and I said something that even now I don't understand why I said it. Not because it's like a fucked up thing, but because it had no basis in reality. It was along the lines of, oh, you're just like, just like everyone else who, talks to me, something like that. It was, God, it was a while ago, and it's, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plenty. But the general situation was wait. Oh, okay. The general situation was for some reason I believed that she had said something to me prior. I was pretty emotionally hurt at the time, and I definitely wasn't in the clearest mind when I said all this, and it really hurt her as much. It wasn't a good thing to say, but it was. But I basically accused her of liking to watch me suffer, even though there was no indication that she liked that. There was no real indication, and what's weird is, in my mind, even though no one has ever done that, I said specifically, you're just like just like some of my other, it was Just like everyone else, you like to just see me suffer, huh? Which is weird, because even at the time, as I said that, I didn't believe it. Why did I come up here? Oh, I had the potatoes in my hand the whole time. God damn it. No, I straight up just... even as I uttered those words, I didn't believe them. And then, like, 5 minutes after the conversation, my first thought was, oh my god, that's why I thought... that's where that came from. It's because because one of those goddamn dreams, right? At least I hope it's the dream. I really have been blessed with a lack of people being a huge dick to me. And all that. But it's weird. Like, conversations with certain people, specific conversations, that will have the trace feeling that only comes with a prophetic dream. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. But it's weird because it only occurs directly after the event already occurred, so I don't get any warning that something's gonna happen. I never get warning. It's always like it's weird. Like, I knew it was going to happen deep in my memory banks. I knew this situation was going to happen, but it doesn't connect until after it's happened. I mean, so yeah, I get the feeling I have my experience is definitely very different from the ones you have. Excuse me. Alright, so, melon seeds. I'm gonna put the potatoes up here. What do you mean you don't know? Am I just a crackpot? Oh god. I was afraid of that. Yeah, it was like, I could never tell you just how valid or real these dreams really are, you know? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there is no mistaking that feeling. Like, deja vu in steroids is the only way I can describe it. It's not deja vu. Well, the closest I can call it is, as I did before, a sort of prophetic dream. I don't understand how, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It's weird because it's not something I really talk about because you can't. How would that be physically possible that the brain is capable of thinking forward in time enough to predict these things? I don't understand how that could be in any way possible. That's why for me it's kind of like an iffy subject, because I can't it's impossible to explain. Well, for me, at least with my family, I guess I am able to talk with them about this from time to time. Even then, it feels weird because both my parents are semi-religious, so for me, I'm not really. So for me, it's when they talk about that, they usually have that like hinting of it's some sort of higher power thing. And I just really don't see how that could be. Like, I don't see how that logically would make sense. So for me, it's like, while I do have people I can talk to it about, they don't have it in a way that, they don't talk about it in a way that is easily, I don't know, it's just not easy to talk. Even with them, it's not really easy to talk about it. The only person really is my grandpa. the old, the old. He's he. What am I looking for? Oh right, I need more stone. I gotta finish up my farm. He's this weird mix of science and like spirituality stuff. Like the man is a veritable genius, if there ever was one. To give you an idea, like his position in the World War was such that I cannot expressly state what his job was. He has asked me not to state what his job was specifically, because even though we're not at active war, it was that big a deal. All I can say is he was a quote-unquote super spy that went to a school that doesn't exist. Take that however you will. But the man is a veritable genius and a half. Fuck! Ugh. But he's like the only person in my family who even tries to put a scientific explanation, or like a legitimate attempt at it. So it is kind of easier to talk with him about that stuff. And by put a scientific explanation, he says it. He speaks about it the exact same way as I do. I have no fucking idea how that's even possible. It absolutely baffles me. Not, and I'm not to like say your theories are particularly wrong. What's interesting is like the whole ghost theory can be explained in a scientific fashion very easily. So for me, it's not that big a deal, right? So yeah. I keep blanking. I don't know why. Excuse me. It's getting a little late, I guess. I want to get this farm done, though. But no, one of the... Fucking hoe. One of the biggest things I've always enjoyed, I guess, is just how fucking insane my situation can be, I guess. How do I do this? That's fine for now. I can work that out later. Well, I officially have a farm going and enough food to last me until the farm's finished. You see, now that's an interesting take. I've not heard of that take before. Well, not that specific take. In terms of death, for my opinion at least, I see it as one of two ways. Or, like, I don't know, like one of three, I guess? I don't know. Because there is that, potentiality that we just, well, it's hard to put into words, I guess. I'm just not that smart. I'm really not that smart when it comes to this stuff. What the did I? Oh. My two main beliefs for when we die is that either there is some sort of like incarnation situation, maybe. I really don't think. Well, what makes us living is strange. The biggest problem with that scientifically is because what makes us living isn't... Yeah, what makes us living isn't the energy, it's the fine line between being alive and dead is not very fine. Fuck. Alright, sleep time. Like, in my beliefs, really, when you die, either it's, nothingness for the rest of existence, maybe, or maybe, you go into like a time slows infinitely to this, like the millisecond that you died, so that you're forced to forever experience the pain. Maybe that's how death is. Maybe there is some alternate life theory. Maybe there is just like, one of my favorites that I've heard is like that Earth is like a resting place for like in some sort of like alternate creatures, some form of higher being, either like a form of alien or God. I don't, something like that. And that while a lot of us are definitely humans, or a lot of humans are just normal people, there's nothing particularly extreme about them. You have like the truly evil fuckers and the truly kind people who act as sort of who are sort of like beings, like warriors from a war. You have the good knights and the evil knights who go to the same place to heal themselves after a fight. And this place is filled with a bunch of neutral people as well. And depending on what kind of a person you are, I guess, depends on maybe... Fuck, I needed hose, god damn it. Depending on what kind of person you are, you can get the idea of, who, like, which side of this war you're on. Like, this isn't something I came up with, this is something someone else came up with. But, it's like demons, like to make it simple, demons would come to Earth and would take a human body and take it for themselves, right? And then they would live out their lives as a demon, a shitty and like an absolutely shitty person who makes life hell for other people. And then you have, the quote unquote angels who come down and they try their best to make things good for things, make things better for people here. And, the idea is that they're all healing, so, like, both sides are healing when they're here, so, like, the demons aren't as... How? Oh, I had a lot less health than I thought I did. No! Please beat enough health to make it... Oh, shit! It wasn't enough health to make it, guys. Hey. But the general idea is that there's a sword. It's that basically, some of us are a quote unquote angel and the others are quote unquote demons, and the rest are standard humans. And we're just resting here on this planet temporarily, and when we die, we'll undo the body swap and wake up in whatever reality or in whatever existence we previously lived, and then well, for one, there is neutral balance in the war. Do you not know what Switzerland is? You could just say that the majority of, humankind would be Switzerland. They don't take a particular side in the instance unless they see that side doing them, a benefit. So it's not necessarily putting everyone in this black or white, good or evil, right? Because I don't like that. And there is a neutral or balance in a war. There are plentiful ways to turn a war so that you can have it so that even people fighting for the side of good, are technically neutral. Fuck. this tree here. Yeah, everyone forgets about the Swits until you realize you can't invade them. Fucking mountain bitches. Played them in Hoi 4 once. My friend couldn't fucking break my army, even though he was Germany. Hoi 4 is a game one of my friends got me. Basically, it's World War Simulator. And, no, Switzerland was indestructible. Couldn't attack anyone for shit, but indestructible. But no, and like the general census is from that person is that we're like the good and evil people who come here to heal aren't inherently like true gods or angels. Like they're demigods and demi-demons or whatever. Like they're the children of humans and the angels. So that would, you know, what's the one way to basically ruin a perfectly pure entity? Throw a little bit of human chaos in the mix. And their general consensus is that these sort of demigods fought the wars for the angels and demons, and then they would come here to heal. And potentially kill each other as well. You know, if they ever got too close, you know. It goes really in depth. This person, you know, I mean, I don't know. They could be right. I like to think that maybe that's how it is, because then, you know, I could be the glorious knight that I wish I could have been. You know, if it was true, then I could be one of the, you know, the knights who goes into the battlefield and fucking who goes forth and strikes down the evil and bullshit like that, right? It might be possible, you know, under that specific theory, you know, that one way it could be possible. And the other idea is that when humans, you know, when a human dies, instead of dying, they get reincarnated instead of, like, going to heaven or hell. I'll be honest, I personally always figured heaven was really just hell in disguise. Right. Yeah, let's take... Fuck. This takes a lot of time, goddamn. And I still have some left. Sweet. Oh, uh-huh. Well, I have a farm. That's something. Might want to. I may remove those trees so spiders don't mess it up too much. Yeah. And I would also like to preface, I don't inherently believe that that is the one specific way that's how, like, the afterlife would work. I am personally more in favor that when we die, we just... Hey, you know, that's the funny thing is, if you were one of those, either demigods or demi-demons, you know, there's a good chance you got wounded and didn't want to be here, you know? You got wounded and was put here without your consent. Let's see. So I have the main farm going. Ish. What I need to do is... Oh, that's not bad. That's not a huge blight in the area. Gotta put a cattle... Super... Well, Well, thinking in terms of like a an army. If we think of things in terms of an army, you like to research like spiritual situations, right? That's your general method. That's what you do. Is you like to look into the various like not really real, I guess. I don't know. Okay, this we're gonna take. I need a door. Why can't I? Oh, there's my door. Okay. All right. So the idea is that maybe it's not like a superpower, but your speciality was maybe you're a researcher who looks into how the enemy works, right? If we're gonna follow this theory, you would be someone who does research on the specifics of an enemy. You know, you would if someone needed to know the proper method for dispatching what's it, a Yowie, you would probably be the person to come to. You would be the one that held that important information. Okay. So right, I need to make my food zone. Alright, there we go. Oh, it's night. God damn it, I can't make that yet. Fuck. You feel special now? I'm glad. I'm legitimately glad. Everyone deserves to feel special every once in a while, right? Everyone it's like everyone really does have a purpose to some degree. And as small as you might think it is, the smallest things can have the biggest impact. Especially when you look at it at the right angle. Oh fuck! Well, that's ugly now. Yeah, no, it's like depending on the kind of person when you meet them, it becomes easier to tell like what they would have been in that war. Ah, yes. I mean, that's a really respectable position, man. No, like that's an incredibly respectable career choice, man. Look at look at your career choice, and then look at the one I am actively pursuing right now in front of your very eyes, and see which one is probably going to have is more likely to have a direct impact on people. Okay, like let's be real. I'm not gonna get anywhere with this. Shit. This is a hobby of mine. I would be one of the luckiest people on Earth if this was like a full-time job for me. If I could turn this into a full-time job, I would. But I know that's not going to happen. Not likely, at least. The job you got right there, that's a respectable, well-paying, honest working job. Well, yeah, that's just because I'm purposely abusing the algorithm here. I mean, I'm not saying that this profession is totally useless or anything. I'm just saying the chances of me becoming like anyone big are very slim. It's possible. I'll readily admit it's possible, but come on. The only reason I have you're even here is because I specifically am playing Minecraft. Because I'm trying as I'm actively, manipulating the situation so that more people will click on my name by giving it, a popular game. There's very little chance that will, like, help me later on or be enough. You say that, but I don't watch streamers, so I couldn't verify that. Like, my original idea was to go into YouTube. That was my, like, that was what I was gonna do, is be a YouTuber. But then I realized that it cost more money to go into YouTube, because you had to have recording equipment. You had to have you had to have recording equipment, and yeah. I watch a couple streamers. Mostly what I watch of streamer content is what they upload on their YouTube channel. Lucky me to have a man of culture. Ugh, that word has become tainted. Yeah. It's I started out on YouTube, and part of the reason I liked YouTube was because it cut down a lot of the content. It was easier to watch. And that's why I wanted to go into it, because I knew, that if you're going to make the money, you're going to make it there. Right? But then I very quickly realized I need cash if I'm going to be a streamer or a YouTuber, and I didn't have cash when I started. So, oh neat. I'm glad to have been the lucky motherfucker, or to have you around. You're a pretty decent person. Let's see, chunk. Let's see. We need a furnace in here so I can cook the food. And I need storage. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I am quite honored that you stuck around for a whole fucking 2 hours, man. I would have actually called it quits a lot sooner if there hadn't been someone around. So thank you. Ooh, I keep forgetting I have this, like, really nice pizza right next to me, so it's already cold and stale. Well, that makes you the perfect audience for me, because I have a hard time talking continuously sometimes. So I generally need someone there, otherwise it'll be a very, very quiet stream. And, you are actually fairly quiet. Like, believe it or not, you are a very... You're like one of the best viewers possible, because you, like, stopped to listen to what I was... Every orifice in my body is clenched! Hi, pal. How are you? Please fuck off. But no, you've been a fairly decent viewer, because, I mean, yeah, you do talk a lot, but when I was, telling my stories, you didn't interrupt. That's really nice. That's like... that's primo viewer right there, man. Engaging when you want them to be, and then not engaging when you don't need them to be, right? You've already struck like an amazing balance. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, I have a beet. Anyone want borscht? Get the fuck out of here. Alright, so what am I doing next? I could make the animals section of the farm. Because that's really important. I do need leathers. Alright. Primo viewer right there, man. You sir. Sir or ma'am, I don't know yet. You are an excellent viewer. And honestly, this is partly why I went through Twitch instead of YouTube anyways. They're streaming instead of, videos, is because I do personally prefer to have a closer interaction with the people who are watching me. Oh! I forgot Satan was here a few nights ago. Alright, so we got water bucket. A ma'am. Excellent. Okay, cool. That honestly does explain why you've been relatively more cordial than some of the other people. I'll be honest. Very few dudes would sit through as much of my bullshit. Alright, so, yeah. You've made for a very nice viewer, and, I'm thankful. But sorry, ladies, I'm already taken. God. I've waited my entire life to say that. Alright. No, it is a very, very worthy hobby, because I have learned that people who speak bullshit will oftentimes speak truths accidentally. I mean, I'm not saying I'm speaking any sort of truth here. I'm just saying, if you know when to listen, you're gonna hear some very, very spicy details. Exactly. I like to assume I'm a ladies' man, but I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm honestly better at attracting men, and I don't fucking know how. I'm not complaining. Let's see. It's already late. Fuck, I have to go back to bed. I swear to God. I hate how short the day-night cycle in this game can be. I mean, it doesn't matter if you live underground in a hole. Wait, I just realized you're a fucking hobbit. Oh my God, you're a hobbit. that hit me so suddenly. I don't know why that did. Yeah, it's weird. I just realized. I guess I shouldn't let my girl meet you then, huh? I'm gonna run the risk of losing her to you. Fuck. Alright, so... Oh, fucking... Yeah, it's it is. I do find it rather weird how it can be easier to attract like the same sex than it is to attract the opposite sometimes. Like, I swear to God, I think I'm fairly certain I am probably incredibly lucky with the fact that I got one girl to crush on me. To any extent, I'm probably like one of the luckiest people in fucking the world. And the fact that they're a nerdy gamer is a really, really fucking nice one. But okay, full health. I got my boots. Allahu Akbar! No, it is rather strange how much easier it seems to attract those of the opposite sex. Oh no, yeah, no. Have you seen some of those femboys, girl? I don't know what it is, but like, the dick doesn't make it cuter. Exactly. I'm not gay, but I just love men. That is hilarious. That is amazing. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pull the ultimate test to whether or not I can like respect you, or not, maybe not respect, but like whether or not you're a worthy person to be friends with. I want to hear your thoughts on furries. Because no matter what, that's a volatile topic, or it can be a very volatile topic. So I want to see how well you handle that. I forget that there's a delay on the video. There's a slight delay. So it takes a while before you actually see it. Like if I go into stream settings, latency. Yeah, no, there is a latency, so it can be. So I forget that it can take longer for there to be a proper response. Oh, sweet. Well, that's close enough. Honestly, if I go. Okay, well, those are zoophiles, and they like to pretend to be furries. You see, there's a slight difference that a lot of people fail to make, and it's that furries are not zoophiles, and zoophiles pretend to be furries, generally speaking. And that's one of the biggest problems I've noticed, is that people just don't care to tell. The fursuits, I think, my opinion on fursuits are, I don't understand the fursuits, but I ain't gonna shit on them. Because, I mean, I have weird ass hobbies, so, I mean, I can't say, I can't say anything against them, really. Like, one of the weirdest arguments I heard is, that all furries are into bestiality, when, like, even the ones that sexualize it, I can't really call it bestiality, because the whole definition of bestiality is that bestiality is a thing where you do it with animals that can't consent, and that's the situation, is, so long as it's old enough and it can speak the human language, it can technically consent. Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, they are pretty cool. Yeah, they are. You have to admit, a lot like the artwork alone is fucking fabulous. Sometimes it's insane. It's hard to find art of like a character that isn't both quality and not a furry sometimes. No, for me, it's a little important because I have a couple friends, you know. It's unnecessary hate because again, when if you look at it from a you know a moral standpoint, the whole reason quote unquote bestiality is not okay is because the animal can't consent, and that's why it's not okay. But you know what? If you want to be a shark person and have sex with another shark person, just don't make me a part of it, I guess. That's all I ask. Yeah, no, I never understood why that group got so much hate. It was genuinely baffling to me. Let's see, tree. For me, that's creepy. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, I'll go ahead and wear that. I'll say, go ahead and wear that if that's what you're into. But like to me, that's genuinely creepy. That touches on the uncanny valley situation, and I just can't. It's one of the few instances where the uncanny valley can do anything to me. But it's I mean, yeah, the mouth can move with their talking, but it's too robotic. It it's just far away from being biological that it doesn't fit, right? And it doesn't even fit with like the face they make or what they're saying. The mouths don't even move properly to what they're saying, so it hits in that uncanny valley a little bit. Once if they manage to get it so that they can. Oh yeah, no. The animatronics are neat. I missed out on the FNAF phase of it all as well. It was interesting, definitely. I will say just from my standpoint, the lore alone made it quite the quite the interesting experience. I had never seen something before that at least I hadn't seen anything with such like in-depth lore that made no sense. Very few games like are able to get to that point. And I'll be and animatronics aren't really for me an uncanny valley situation for me at least. As far as I'm concerned, their movements are just mechanical enough that it doesn't really creep too much. God, this leak will take for fucking ever. Oh, hey, there's wood right here. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure just about anyone could. There's so much goddamn lore to that one fucking thing. I wouldn't be surprised if you couldn't, honestly. It's like Warhammer. It just has an inordinate amount of lore. I'm gonna go build some fucking axes. God damn it, I'm done with this shit. Where? It's over here. And it was. I have seen everything in terms of FNAF, so I do have like a general baseline of what happens in terms of story. But it's one of those things. For me, at least, it was one of the first big things I saw that really took lore and made it its own. So, even though I was a little late to the craze, I did think it was pretty neat. Too bad it's been taken over by fucking YouTube kids. Ugh. Hmm. You're a decent enough person. I wonder. I wonder if... I wasn't really given a chance. My parents didn't like allow me direct access to the internet. They were very, very careful with what I was interacting with. I like to think it's what prevented me from becoming a 4chan shitlord. But it also means... Oh yeah, yeah. Fucking Spyro. That right there is one hell of a childhood game for me. But no, I didn't really experience too much of that stuff, sadly. What the fuck? Oh. Oh. Huh. That was weird. I mean, you know, I'm, you know, like I said, I'm 18 and I'm a fucking nerd and a half. Like, I'm. Well, yeah, no, I don't think it ever was, but at the same time, I missed out on a lot of the crazes. You know, my parents, they very heavily limited me, so I only got access to like Flash game websites, which you know they were pretty cool, but I did miss out on a lot of the stuff. Like I said, I didn't see Undertale until 5 years after it came out. And you know, it's a pretty decent game. But I'm starting to wonder if, because there is something I do wonder. Oh fuck! I'm hungry again. God damn it. Right, sleep. You might think I have copious amounts of wood now, but wait until I actually start, like, building the fencing of this place and it's all gonna go away completely. Excuse me, pizza moment. So, you want to know just how much of a nerd I am? Like, fucking creeper. Like, I'm not a low key nerd or anything. Like, I may or may not have designed an entire OC, several OCs, based them around real people in my life, and then proceeded to create an entire world for them. Actually, you know what I could do is have the water level right up here. That would be neat. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I may or may not have created an entire fucking, like, not just an OC, but an entire, like, storyline and arc and shit. And it's more expansive than it really should be for a bunch of, you know, scribbled down, not even scribbled down at this point. Fuck. I should. I have a borderline unlimited supply of yeah, no, you think that, but no. Not, like, weirdly enough, it doesn't seem like there's a large portion of people who don't. They focus on something else. I personally, I always assumed everyone was creating epic combat scenes for their music when they listen to it, or such a situation that fits the music. But no, apparently some people just they literally just all they do is vibe to that music, and that's baffled me. That always baffled me. Now, I never expected people to make like combat scenes in relation to the music they listen to, but I was assumed something, and it turns out not everyone does. And yeah, so mine was built around I like to do science shit like that and shit like that. So I kind of merged science and fiction and nonfiction a little bit as best as I could. Infinite realities, using infinite realities to create immortal beings that beat the shit out of each other to keep each other from destroying realities. If that's not complicated, if it doesn't seem complicated now, wait until I talk to you about the government system I fucking created. I'm a fucking loser. I just realized how much of a fucking loser I am. I created a governmental system for that. Oh my god. Yeah, no, but no, yeah. Also, I'm gonna be fair, the criteria for ending up as a character in this story is not really high or anything. So, like, I may just, like, later, tomorrow or something, just, like, go through the channel logs of this and basically create you your own character out of nowhere. What? Wait. What's with the capitalization? I'm afraid. What did I do? Please don't hurt me. I'll give you my children. I'll give you my unborn child. Something feels like I hit a very, very strong note with you somewhere, and I don't understand how I could have, but I'm interested to see where this goes. Oh yeah, no, I created a full fucking governmental system. It only really works in this particular instance. Well, it's not a full governmental system. A lot of it I leave out because it's not too terribly important. And it only really could work under... It's designed specifically around the world they exist. And in this world, everyone's technically immortal. Technically. Or at least, like a small population. Not everyone. The people that matter are technically immortal. So the specific governmental system is intended with, immortal people in mind. And yeah, I only really did it. Excuse me, I needed some water. I only really did that because I mean, the overarching story requires some form of government, I guess, because it's it's technically a coalition of people. And that's how that works. And because I have it like that, I decided, there needed to be a baseline government for how it works. It's not too terribly I mean, it depends, I guess. I don't know. It's not in a position where I could tell you what it is, honestly. Like, right now, I couldn't go too deep into it. It would require, like, in order to give off enough information about the overarching story, I probably would have gone through the entire stream. The entire time I've been streaming. That's how long it would have taken to get it to the point where... this is like where it would be feasible for you to understand it. I have a lot of time in my hands. Basically, it's I'll try, I guess, but basically what happens is, since everyone's technically immoral, there has to be a government system implemented that accounts for that, and it's specifically geared towards wealth. The idea is that what they do is, the main government does is, because no one dies really, they don't want dude. No, dude, nah, dude. It would I'd have to dedicate an entire stream to do the whole lore of Saloon Solstice, the Knight of Aurea. To give Saloon proper justice, him and all his people, his allies, his enemies, to give everyone proper justice, it would take... I'd probably have to do that in tomorrow's stream or something. And it would have to be almost solely dedicated to that. Because I can bullshit forever. But the general idea is that the main government system basically works to try and slow and prevent too much growth of personal wealth. Because otherwise you may potentially end up with a monopoly that would revolt against the main governmental system. And the naturally, I don't know, volatile situation that exists requires that they that they work to prevent people from gaining too much power. Otherwise, you may end up with a douchebag who takes over the entire land that they own and then destroys all they worked for. What time? What? Oh my god! Oh, it's pretty late. I mean, I don't know. Do you want to hear this? Because there are plenty of other things I could talk about, but this is something that, if I do try and talk about it now, it would definitely have to be split up a little bit. So, do you want to hear this lore at all? Let's see, tree. There's only a couple more trees I gotta cut down. Brain war. Excuse me. I don't normally talk this long. Well, I mean, I could definitely finish it tomorrow if it took too late. Also, 4 fucking a.m. Goddamn, that must be some fucking amazing bread. Let me tell you. You're not up at 4 a.m. unless that bread's good. But no, I mean, if you want to finish it, it could be done again. It could be resumed tomorrow if necessary. It all depends on how good I am at compressing the information appropriately. Alright. You're probably going to be the first person who hears any of this, so you should feel very, very special. Or don't, I don't care. So I guess I should start with how the universe itself works. Oh, that's a healthy lifestyle. I try and go to bed earlier than this. but it depends on. Oh fuck, zombies. Oh fuck. Yeah, so if you're gonna be indecisive, I'm just gonna decide that I'm gonna start it halfway, and if I don't finish it tonight, I'll finish it tomorrow, or if you return again. You know. I'm making the choice. Ha. It's my stream, damn it. So, the general idea is that Saloon no, I shouldn't start with him. I should start with how the fucking... I am an absolute mess on camera. And there is no camera. So that just tells you how much of a mess I am in real life. So, how it works is basically... You're right. So, I'll definitely be able to finish it next time. So there's no worries about that. So the general idea on how this works is, you know the multiverse theory. Basically everything, there's infinite versions of reality, and they can be infinitely different or infinitely the same. That's kind of how this world works, right? There's infinite versions of reality. They can be infinitely the same. And if you had a way to look at it appropriately, if you could visibly look at the reality, it would look like the prettiest gemstone in the universe that you could imagine, right? This music is getting in the way of my monologue. Fuck. Let's tone it down a little. The general idea is that, if you were to find a way to look at the universe itself, it would look like an incredibly pretty gemstone, with infinite fractals, constantly shifting and changing and growing. Now, I specifically choose the image of a gem because it makes explaining the other parts easier. Reality is, in this particular instance, infinite, but it can die, in a sense. Reality can die, or a reality. If an imbalance in a reality happens, say the evil guys win too often, and it becomes impossible for the heroes to defeat evil, or evil becomes completely vanquished, what happens is the reality will collapse. It's an irreversible effect that basically everything dies. There is no more existence. Once it happens, it's irreversible, and it's a pretty shitty experience, to be honest. Like, it's not just your home that's gone, but everything and everything. Even things you've never seen or experienced just stop existing. And what's worse is when a reality collapses, because it's a gemstone, any fractal that originated from the base will also collapse. Which means when a reality dies, everything connected to that reality dies as well. Except for an impurity. Impurities are, as you can expect from the name, they're not supposed to be there. Much like a gemstone, they improperly change the how the gem functions. They improperly alter the structure of the gem, and they don't belong in any sense. Normally, an impurity has no real effect on a reality. When an impurity, can live its life as if, nothing happened, as if they're not some reality-ending nightmare entity. As far as they're concerned, they're a perfectly normal, average person. except for the fact that, you know, they can destroy. They sort of hold the power to destroy reality. Because as it turns out, the impurities weaken the structure of a reality. And this, well, it causes realities to collapse. And when a reality collapses, instead of disappearing like everything else does, an impurity is strangely left untouched. If you were an impurity, your reality collapsed, you would see a sort of void consume everything around you, just envelop everything, and then you would be inside this void untouched, perfectly alive, probably very confused, and you would likely be the only thing from your reality that would still exist. Everything else doesn't anymore. It's like a universal deletion button. Now, realities can collapse naturally, and they can also be caused to collapse by an impurity. It's all dependent on various factors like what happens in the reality. And it's all dependent on various factors. So when an impurity is inevitably created, they exist solely in the void at that for a while at least. The void being the space in between realities. Oh shit. And so long as you exist in the void, you're not hungry. You don't get hungry. You don't get cold. You don't get tired. You exist like in a sort of purgatory, except worse because it's just worse. Trust me, it's worse. And God. So that's how that works. It is eventually learned by a group that I will talk about later, that there is a finite number of impurities that exist. There isn't an infinite number of impurities. There is a point where impurities stop being created. You can find the end of it. Now, if we move forward, we start getting into the actual storyline of my little universe. Now that we have the background info. Selûne Solstice is a knight of a kingdom known as Alria, or he was a knight. As you may guess, he is an impurity. He also had a quote-unquote sister that he was separated from at birth for reasons that, well, they're not fun, I guess. Or they are, depending on who you are. In the reality that Selûne lives, there are two main, you have a kingdom and you have a city. You have the kingdom of Xanide and the city of Xanide and the kingdom of Alria. They exist very far away from each other, and one is highly technologically advanced, and the other is a medieval kingdom. Selûne resides in Alria, the kingdom, and Lunane, his sister, happens to reside within Xanide, excuse me. They don't know of each other. They are both impurities. Due to the very interesting nature of their birth, they are both impurities. And basically, their reality collapses. What happens is, in Lunan's side, she starts fighting the city's government, trying to take. She ends up trying to dismantle the city's main government, because it ends up killing her friends. Which I would like to state, they happen to be a gang, so you can understand why they might have had them executed, right? It's an understandable thing. So while she's doing that, Saloon is trying to defend his kingdom from the ancient scourge. The ancient scourge that had once assaulted the lands. It somehow returned despite supposedly being destroyed by the old kings. Both these events occurred simultaneously. So while the city was becoming incredibly unstable from a civil war, the kingdom of Alria was being besieged by an evil the likes of which it was not prepared to fight. It very quickly, all the fighting very quickly determines that there is no force strong enough to fight this evil at the end of it. Despite Saloon's best attempts, he's unable to stop the evil from growing, and Lunan causes enough damage to the city government that, well, it ended with the entire population being genocided, or in the process of being genocided. It gets that bad. Yeah, Lunan kind of fucked up in that one. So, their reality collapses, and they find themselves in the void, and eventually they do meet each other in the void. The void is infinite, but it is possible to interact with something inside the void. Something else in the void. They managed to come across of each other because of an enchanted keepsake they had. The enchanted keepsake was essentially a sort of it was a magic medallion that prevented them from accessing their true nature, and not the true nature of impurity, but the true nature of the fact that they're technically one person. Technically. I like that word a lot. Technically. Technically speaking, Saloon and Lunan are kind of the same person, in the sense that at birth, the being known as Saloonite, yes, that's the name, was recognized by her parents, as a sort of very... They recognized she wasn't supposed to exist, and their first thought was that she was some sort of demon, or possessed by a demon. So they split the child into two separate versions. Took the they'd use magic, of course, to do this, and they'd split the child into two. They'd take they would take Lunan with them to the city in an attempt to distance her from magic, and they would leave Saloon in the care of a merchant couple. There we go. So from there, they would live out their lives. Lunan would eventually become a gunslinger and an alchemist. By alchemist, I mean chemist. And Saloon would be a powerful spell sword. The two of them, very, very well known. Lunan was a mercenary who worked as she was a mercenary. She would work for various gangs for cash, and Saloon acted as an on-call defender. He mostly attended tournaments and fought people. But he very well could and did beat the shit out of people who got in his way, if he so needed to. The two were relatively strong. And, in the Void, they learned that there's a special coin was used to split them apart. And that if they recombine this coin, they recreate Selûnite, who has no memories of her own, only the memories of Selûne and Lunaan. She doesn't split the coin for a long, long time, and this leads to a trouble later on. This is going to be a deep pond, goddamn. So Selûne and Lunaan, they recreate Selûnite, and this makes them stop existing because they're two halves of her. And Selûnite will proceed to Selûnite will proceed to exist in the Void until eventually meeting Anbax, a noticeably powerful wizard who is also an impurity, who proposes the idea that they begin working together to create a sort of home for impurities. They would later become known as the original founders of this. Together, Anbax and Selûnite would together learn many secrets of the Void and start attracting people to their new home, this new home. At first, the intended governmental system was to be much like a guild. You do jobs for them, you get cash, and so long as you don't do anything against the rules, they don't come after you with magical bazookas, right? So long as you follow their rules, they don't get in your way, and if you do jobs for them, then you get rewarded. Fairly simple. That was the original premise until it was learned until Anbax ended up portraying his true nature. He was actively destroying realities. Not like one or two, but entire realities were being targeted with the sole purpose of destroying as many realities as possible. The sole purpose of it. Now, Anbax was incredibly powerful, so there was no direct way to combat him. In fact, out of all the impurities that had been discovered, not a single one could match him in direct combat. In fact, even together, the impurities the many impurities of the guild were afraid that they wouldn't be able to match up to Anbax. So they took a different path. They changed the purpose of the guild completely. They changed it from a sort of coalition, or they changed it from a guild to a coalition. A group of people, dedicated to stopping Anbax, essentially. That's exactly what they did. They would recruit the any poor impurity that lost their world would get recruited and would join in the fight against Anbax. And the interesting thing is, or what I consider to be an interesting thing is, it didn't matter if you were a good guy or a bad guy. You could be recruited. You could join the Coalite because it didn't matter if you were good or evil, inherently. If your purpose was, if you wanted to take over a universe, if you wanted to become, an intergalactic monarch or a dictator or whatever, if you wanted complete control over reality, that didn't necessarily like mean you were. It meant you were more likely to want realities to go unharmed, because the more realities are destroyed, the less realities you have to take control of. So it was determined that, even what would normally be considered evil people would be welcomed. So you get this interesting hodgepodge of ideas, personalities, and beliefs and whatnot, all fighting together to fight. All fighting together to fight this one dude. At least it started out as one dude. He would eventually inadvertently accrue an entire cult around him that made things all the more difficult. The Coalite the whole Coalite's purpose had changed from being a safe haven for impurities to being a direct assault situation, being a direct combat, directly combating Anbax. Their purpose changed very, very wildly compared to what it used to be. And, well, for all intents and purposes, it did its job. They started building up an armies, multiple armies in fact, and they would invest in research regarding the void technology so that they could create material that wouldn't be destroyed if a reality collapsed, because that was a major problem they would run into, is a reality would collapse and then half their fleet would just disappear. So as Selûne and Lunan are actively aiding all this, you get the inevitable creation of the Coalite, and it very quickly becomes an sort of intergalactic civilization in terms of its strength. Very, very few things could match up to their power. For one, the elite soldiers they had were technically immortal, so even if you defeated one of them, even if you slew one in combat, they would just come back the next day, as fresh as ever. This provided a very important leverage piece, I guess, against Anbax. A way to fight him, I guess. Yeah. Over time, it all evolved, and it would evolve further, and it would eventually be determined that Selûne I'm getting things mixed up. Excuse me. They would continue to face off against Anbax in his accidental cult until these constant skirmishes would inevitably lead to what would put Selûne and Lunan as sort of faces of the coalition. What would make both of them sort of the de facto leaders, I guess. Or at the very least, what made them the mascots. That's a more appropriate way to display it. Because what they did was they directly challenged, they would lead an assault against Anbax in a very, very important reality. You see, when one reality collapses, all branches of that reality also collapse. Which means it's a chain reaction. Every reality that is supported by the collapsed reality also falls. And the more important that reality, the more realities will collapse. Anbax managed to discover the location of an incredibly important reality, and he found it was a lot harder for him to destroy, so he started setting up base, preparing to annihilate it. It turns out the more important a reality is structure-wise, the harder it is to destroy it, almost as if the multiverse doesn't want to collapse or something. So he starts building up an empire in that reality, and the Coalite quickly catches wind, and a full frontal assault between Anbax and his cult and Selûne's coalition. Selûne and Linaen. Well, not even theirs, it's just the coalition at this point. Anbax and the coalition. There we go. The two of those factions would go to direct war, which would ravage that reality, severely weakening it. Eventually, Selûne, Linaen, Rose, Keith, and Hans, which is the crew that fight, which is the names of the sort of crew members, like, you know, party members, like in an adventure game. That party of that group of people would eventually lead an assault on Anbax's main citadel. An assault that would basically prove to be exactly what was needed to stop Anbax. It was doomed. The heroes all knew that they would never defeat Anbax in direct combat. He had an ungodly amount of power, and they had no way of being able to match him. So they didn't expect to win the fight, and they didn't technically win. What would happen is they would go into the fight, and Anbax would, well, he would beat the shit out of them, all of them. Despite the incredible prowess that they had originally displayed, combat prowess they would originally display, they really didn't stand much against the wizard himself. Speaking of, Anbax is a wizard. What was it? Who was it? Kiniard, who was the resident hacker, was actually in no way helpful in the actual fight itself. Due to the nature of his abilities, he wasn't able to do much more than to keep some of the enemy at bay. You know, keep reinforcements from being able to arrive in a timely fashion. Rose and her stalwart defense wasn't enough, was ultimately not enough to break Anbax's attacks. And her shield would be shattered and all that. Well, so, you know, Hans, he was a sniper, not intended for direct combat like that. So while he did try his best, it was ultimately inefficient. His heavy calibered rifle unable to really hit Anbax, which it's kind of necessary to do anything. Lunan was never able to land a direct hit on him, despite being a gunslinger. She was never able to land a solid blow on Anbax. And honestly, no one was able to really match up to him. He had an incredible amount of power that even a group like them couldn't really defeat. And that led to what is... And that would... It was proven to be a fairly futile battle at first. However, the party would refuse to die, as it turns out that is something that you can do. When you die, you go straight to the void if you're an impurity. If you're an impurity without a reality, you go straight to the void when you die. So so that's what normally happens. However, one of the ways to exit the void is through sheer willpower. If you will it hard enough, it does happen in this universe. And this is how Saloon and Co. were able to stop Anbax from destroying a very important reality. They were able to hold him at bay while the rest of the Coalite would proceed to dispatch what cultists they could, and lead to a temporary imprisonment of Anbax. They couldn't hold him for very long. They very, very poorly misjudged just how strong he really was. But they were able to prevent him from destroying what would have been a very important reality. Important means that it upheld several others. So now that Saloon and Co. had this reputation of being the only ones to truly stand up against Anbax, they had to follow it up. And the best way to follow it up was to continue to harass Anbax at every opportunity that they got. In fact, it became a norm within the Coalite to have specialized parties that would harass Anbax and high-ranked members of his cult. That was their sole job was to was harassment of these entities. And it proves effective time and time again. And after thousands of fights against Anbax, they do eventually manage to corner him. And this leads to the truth being revealed about what Anbax was really doing. He was specifically destroying realities for two reasons. One was to cause the creation of the coalition, and two was to awaken an entity known as Idax Animu, a powerful worm that was consuming reality after reality, and if left unchecked, it would inevitably become unstoppable. He revealed those as the key reasons why he had been destroying so many realities. And with this new information, the Coalition was given a new mission. Eliminate Edax Animo at all cost. If a being like that was allowed to exist, a being that fed off of the very power of realities, then there was definitively no reason to allow it to exist. So they go in and start preparing to fight Edax, right? And eventually they learn a very horrible truth that comes at the cost of the first true death in the entire overarching story. One of the old founders, who happened to be a researcher, was researching Edax Animo, and it managed to kill him. Straight up. He was dead. Something believed to be wholly impossible had just occurred. It was one of the scariest moments within the Coalition. After all, everyone assumed that they were all immortal, and nothing could kill them. And this proved to be the opposite, of course. So now, armed with an entire coalition and an impossibly powerful mage, work was done to begin finding location and killing Edax Animo. For the research created by the dead founder revealed that what allowed Edax to kill the unkillable made him vulnerable. The raw amount of energy that it had consumed from the various realities it had, shot up, basically. Well, that energy may have given it the power to kill an impurity, but it itself was also vulnerable to this power. I'd also like to state Edax is also an impurity. Edax, Anbax, and Chimichanga Man. So they're all like, so all this is going on. Preparations are being made to kill Edax. At this point, it's determined that the armies of the Coalition were in no way large enough to be able to face off against something as such. The unkillable soldier was not a reliable thing because Edax could kill them. So they just, instead of focusing further on specialization, what they did was they went out of their way to sort of capture entire realities, turning them into proxy empires with the main purpose of producing soldiers for this fight. Thousands upon thousands of realities would be utilized for this. Raw resources were gathered, manpower, everything you could need to start a war. They were getting it. And this wasn't going to be a small war, like a small war between Ambax and his cult. No, this was this was expected to be something where realities would end if the wrong move was played. So they create their proxy empires, they start producing heavy amounts of soldiers, and the worst comes to fruition. Edax is indestructible. They can't hit him. They can't do anything to him. They have to. They determine that they have to reach the core of Edax to hurt it. But there is no way to reach the core of Edax that they can come up with. He is basically protected by a shielding that allows him to sleep safely. They have to wake it up before they can kill it. You gotta awaken the demon before you're, allowed to make a deal with it. Alright, good night. I'll see you at the next one. I probably should head off too, actually. Oh my god, it's fucking 2 a.m. Why did I do this? I blame you. This is your fault. Don't worry. Alright, good night. Have a good one. I'm gonna finish the pawn and I'll go. Alright, so that's the lore. Is it gonna? Oh, it's not gonna. Fuck. Okay, I have to make it. Okay. Alright, so I'm currently, for the 0 people watching, hey, I'm currently making my pawn, right? So I've got to trick it a little bit, just a little bit. I'm gonna try and finish my pizza. Ooh. Oh. We're almost there. Oh, come on. Why aren't you... Oh, fuck off with that. Don't tell me I did this, like, completely wrong. Alright, let's take a look-see down here, huh? Oh, I see. I can see what the problem is now. Okay. and it expands a little bit more. Oh no. I may have made a mistake in building this. Oof. Why doesn't it expand? Strange. I was hoping that I could trick it, sort of. I don't get this. There's more expansion right there. Huh. I wonder what I fucked up. Yeah, I must have really fucked myself. Oh no. I should have started from the bottom up. Ugh, fuck. This rain makes it impossible to see. Alright. Alright, alright. I'll have to cut this here. There's not much more I can do right now. I might give me a little bit longer, actually. 5 more minutes, Mom, please. Because I might be able. Just might. It's impossible to see. Okay. I'm gonna continue this later. I had a lot of fun. I hope everyone here did too. This was really interesting. I've not streamed this long and it's really late. I have to go now. I hope you had fun. I did. If you want to see me in the future, you know what to do. I should be on I'm usually on the weekends, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed, and good night.